What is up, YouTube? We're here. We did it. We made it to another episode of the canceled Misfits show, episode 18. I'm so happy to be here. I do have a warning. I have upped my game exponentially on here. Hopefully my computer can handle the workload. If it doesn't and can't, and I go out for a second, or for more than a second, because if my computer crashes, I probably won't be back on. Just know that's what happened. Also, I have a surprise for y'all later in the show. Marcus is going to be here, but in a way that you haven't ever seen before. Uh-oh, gave too much away. So I'm excited about that. If you're here, leave a comment on the live chat. I actually have it up here. You leave a question, I may answer it later. Who knows? While you're here, maybe comment and subscribe. I said comment twice. I did, because I did not script any of this and I need to work on my opening. No. Comment, subscribe, and then hit the bell beside it. It'll, make a dinging, ringing sound in your head, but it'll be worth it because you'll get all of my videos as soon as they come out. Without further ado, let's get to it. I love that. Every time I watch it over here, and it makes me happy. It makes me happy. All right, so our very first story, which takes me from being very happy about watching that to very, very sad for the state of humanity. So there's really nothing to do except dive right into this, and just be forewarned. This segment is not for the faint of heart. It goes like this. A pregnant abortion activist took an abortion pill during a live on-air interview, just in case you need to be reminded of the stakes of the pro-life movement these days. Yes, you heard me right. If you've ever wondered why now is the most important time to fight for babies' rights in the womb, well, I'm about to show you. Like I said, be forewarned, there's about to be a murder that is played out on live television. I am not happy about that.
My guests, pro-life activist Rebecca Kiesling and reproductive health care advocate Jex Blackmore. Jex, I want to start with you in this segment. I've looked at your website and your social media. You seem to be promoting abortion pills, which the CDC did allow through mail order. In fact, there are posters around the country now promoting abortion pills. I guess, number one, are they dangerous? And number two, are you advocating stocking up on abortion pills in case Roe versus Wade is overturned?
Yes, so they are incredibly safe, safer than Viagra or Tylenol. They've actually
That's a lie. There's a 100% death rate.
So if you order it through the mail, they would be the same thing you would receive if you were to walk into a clinic. And the change that recently happened is previously you had to actually physically go to a doctor to receive at least the first of the medication. And now you can get it sent to you through the mail on a sliding scale. And it is extremely easy and private, and allows you to really self-manage your abortion. And Charlie, I want to share with you really quickly, this here is mifepristone. This is the first of two pills you would take to end a pregnancy, and it would induce an abortion, this very pill, by blocking the hormone and allowing a pregnancy to grow. And I want to show you how easy it is and safe it is by taking it myself.
You're taking it. You're not pregnant, are you?
I would say that this is going to end a pregnancy. This would be my third abortion.
Wow, that doesn't happen often. Rebecca, your reaction.
That revulsion you're feeling right now, it means that you're human, one. You haven't lost all of your humanity, something that this woman has long since lost. So right up there, she proudly is saying that that would be a third abortion that she did live on air and smiled about. Let's just take a second to really think this, to really let this set in. This woman was smiling about a murder that she just performed on live television. And we're not immediately taking her to the electric chair. So, yeah. Third one. So, I would say this is an indicator of a couple of different things. First of which, just how sinful and evil this world is. And I know, we know this. We know that it's evil, that it's sinful. I know I'm preaching to the choir and that it will keep getting worse and worse until the end times. But there's just been a spate of stories this year that has truly shown such a horrifying trend. You have the after-school Satan Club. Literally demonic evil being peddled to elementary school kids. And then Canada effectively banning truth, reality, and not just one, but the two biggest religions in the world, Christianity and Islam. Now, I'm not going to say I'm a, expert on the religion of Islam, but, when they cut homosexuals' heads off and throw them off buildings, it kind of makes me see that they're not really too high on the homosexuality thing. And if you remember back to the conversion therapy bill, you could definitely say that's coercion to not have homosexual proclivities. So yeah, that's two religions that they just effectively eliminated in Canada. And now Canada is actively asking kids to rat out the unvaxxed. That they should be hunted down by the police and have everything taken away from them in a Stalinish nightmare. And then this, where evil is so abundant that it is aired live in Detroit. This was aired live in Detroit. Literally in studio with a guest, there was a murder, a stone cold one, where she smiled at the camera after taking that pill. Proud of it as her third kill. She's one away from being a serial killer. I wonder if she has like a punch card, and if she makes it to 5, she gets free antidepressants for a month to deal with the fact that she murdered 3 of her kids. That's supposed to be a joke, but I can't find any humor in myself right now to really make a joke of it, because there's no joke there. It's too serious for a joke. And this is why I say that the left not only hates women, they hate kids. The most vulnerable among us is their prey. And they hunt them with a smile on their face and a gleam in their eye. You just saw it. You just saw it on there. Now, because I don't just want to, really just re-say what we just watched, I do have a little bit of a hopefully unique insight. Is this not a mirror for the end of the world? At least my Christians here know that biblically it will keep getting worse, and then we'll be raptured to heaven, thankfully. Now, after the stabilizing presence of God's church is gone, a historical check against the worst of humanity's collective misgivings, who's going to be left? I mean, generally it would be people who would love to have total control over everybody's lives. And then evil will be made good and good will be made evil. You heard it here first. January 2022 was a dry run for the end of the world. But there's a second point to be made here too. Why does the world keep descending into evil like this? Well, it's because evil people are willing to do this to advance their cause. in a lot of cases, they want it more than we as conservatives and we as Christians do. So shame on us. Really, shame on us. Shame on conservatives for ever giving up any ground to people who believe that it's okay to kill babies in the womb. For compromising. And I hear you say that we have to compromise to get some of what we want. I hear it through the screen, through here. I hear you saying that. And to that, I say, shame on us for ever letting them, those that believe abortion is not morally evil or that a little boy can be a little girl, letting them have any part of the conversation. Because they should not have any part of this conversation. They shouldn't have any decision-making ability, power, nothing. Because we let it happen. Of course, politics and the culture move farther left since our founding. We let this happen. And if we hadn't let this happen, we wouldn't be where we had to compromise now. So, shame on us. And also shame on us Christians here in America. Us comfortable American Christians who go to churches and hide behind the calls to love and not judge. On us who use that as an excuse to never engage in this fight, to engage the culture, to fight for truth. We seem to forget that righteous anger is just as much of a Christ-like attribute as caring for the poor. Because you see, the same Jesus that healed the sick and raised the dead also turned the tables and beat the merchants with a whip that he made. So shame on us who have read to the end of the book, yet act like we stopped reading it in between the death and the resurrection. And there may be nothing we could do to reverse how bad this world is getting, or even to slow it down too much, or to stop it, but we can slow it down. But we have to let them have it. But we have let them have it. We let them have the culture, we let them have the government, and the schools, and now apparently the after-school clubs, and most everything else. And now we're paying for it. This is why they win. This is why they win. Because they want it, and we don't. It's time to do better. Yeah, I'm probably going to hear about that one. I do see a couple questions that I'm going to get to in between segments. One of which is asked by I'm Dead Though, spelled THO. What do you think about Russians deploying plasma to the Ukrainian border? I think there's soldiers there, and generally soldiers do dumb things sometimes, and soldiers bleed a lot. Also, soldiers get shot. So if they are planning an invasion, which probably likely, they're planning to patch their guys up and keep them alive. I mean, there's a lot of other indicators that Russia's probably going to invade. This is just one more. So, thank you too. I'm dead though. Good job. All right. So I've been working a new job quite a bit lately, and also my phone decided to quit on me. I actually just got a new one. And I was hoping the upside of this would be that I could detox a little bit from the news. That's actually not the case. I hate not knowing what's going on, so it made me even more anxious than knowing what was going on. But then I get home and I log on to Facebook because I'm starting writing the script for this. And what is the first headline that I see? The very first one. I'm glad you asked because I'm going to tell you. This 26-year-old sex offender is being sent to girls' juvie because of gender identification. Yes, that whole headline makes absolutely no sense. And here's the surprise I got for you. Hey Marcus, you're on live.
What's up, everybody? Sorry I'm late.
Yeah, I'm just glad you made it, and we got your beautiful smiling face on here. Coming at just the perfect time. We're about to start the second segment on the 26-year-old who was sent to girls' juvie. He's a male, by the way. Sent for, yeah. It's funny, you can't see me, but I can definitely see you. So we're going to make this work. Back to that incredible headline. So yes, that whole headline makes absolutely no sense. Unless you realize that this is California, until you realize that the left hates women, and until you realize the leftist cause is more important than little girls, as we have seen and shown many times. So I'm just going to read a little bit into this, then Marcus, I'll let you do your thing. There we go. So a Los Angeles County judge on Thursday ordered Hannah Tubbs, a transgender California woman, to serve 2 years. And this is me reading directly from the article, because I would not say that he was a woman, because he's a man, as we will see. Served 2 years in a juvenile facility after he pleaded guilty to sexually assaulting a 10-year-old girl in 2014. 10 years old. And they're going to put him in a juvie with underage women. Let's stop there. Marcus, what you think about that?
I don't know why you would want to put a child molester in a prison with children.
Yeah, that doesn't make much sense at all.
No, it doesn't. I don't get where that comes from, but I will say that I know he's going to be doing to those. Well, he'll probably be doing to those little girls will be the same thing that real person will be doing to him, because they despise people like him.
They do.
They're the low lifes.
I actually do have a joke about that later on coming up. So you kind of beat me to it a little bit, but it'll still be funny, I hope. No, you're good, man. You're good. Reading a little bit farther. Before doing so, the judge criticized far-left district attorney George Gascon, who officially declined to prosecute the repeat offender as an adult. So Tubbs, 26, recently pleaded guilty to molesting the girl in a woman's bathroom 8 years ago when Tubbs was 2 weeks away from turning 18. That's the only reason right there that he's going to juvie and not tried as an adult, which is beyond ridiculous. So I'm just going to stop reading with she. I can't do it anymore. At the time of the crime, he identified as male and went by James Tubbs, so he's a he. He did not identify as female until after he was taken into custody, according to prosecutors. Very convenient. Am I right, Marcus?
Very. Very
convenient on that. So, as you can tell, I am using the correct biological pronouns. That's rule number one. Rule number one is do not play their stupid game when it comes to gender identification. So every time I do one of these trans segments on the show, I get worried. And the reason I get worried is that I figure that the trans movement every time has jumped the shark. That nothing they could say or do could be as bad as the last thing that they have said or done. So I get worried that I will more or less have to rant about the exact same thing over and over and over on here. Something I'm more than happy to do. But it needs to be said, because it needs to be said, and I truly wish that was the case, honestly. I really do. I really wish that their evilness would flatline and plateau and actually, of course, start going back down. But we never seem to hit the bottom of human depravity when it comes to this. Or I just don't have as much creativity as I thought, thinking every time that it's the end of it. How much worse do you think it could get, just off the top of your head?
I could see it get worse for people that don't abide by the pronouns and by agreeing with you can change genders. I believe you can get prosecuted more for that. As of right now, if you see someone on the street and you say, "Excuse me, ma'am," or "Excuse me, sir," and you're wrong, you may just get a little lashing from a liberal. But if you do that in the coming years, it could be where, "Oh, well, you misgendered me. That's a hate crime, and you can go to jail for years." So,
well, they start doing that in Canada. We talked about that 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, but I'm saying it can get bad. Just not even trying. Not even trying to misgender somebody. Just a random stranger can get upset because you didn't know what they were or what they wanted to be called. So it can get pretty bad. But nothing we can do about it besides speak out and try to do our part.
Yeah, I mean that was the call. That was part of the call to action in the first segment. Is we have to speak out as a unified voice. We have to. I'm sorry, I'm so distracted. Man, the beard, it looks good on you, and I'm kind of jealous that I can't grow one. You've had you've had that beard since you were like 19, right?
Yeah, when I got out of high school from Monroe at like 17, I stopped shaving bald face, and then at like 19, a guy said, "Why don't you grow your beard out for a year, do a year of growth, and just don't shave your beard?" And I said, screw it, I probably don't grow anything worth of crap. But here I am
And there you are. Anyways, back to this. I'm sorry. It's nice having you on screen. In either case, I can't. So this was actually just a question asked on the live chat. Was why would a 26-year-old man go to juvie? I answered on the live chat leftist idiocy because I was strapped for time. But I don't know. In either case, I can't fathom in what universe it would be a smart or good or even mediocre idea to put a 26-year-old man in with underage girls, especially after he had assaulted a 10-year-old girl to get there. What kind of sick, sadistic, depraved, shameless, vile, warped, and wicked mind would do this? Well, as I answered on the chat, and we'll keep shouting, a leftist would. There's no way around it. A leftist would. George Gascon is his name, by the way. I know I said it earlier, but George Gascon is his name. He's actually facing a second recall effort. I hope this one succeeds. But he's the LA County District Attorney, and he should be disbarred for this alone. He should be recalled for this alone. Tubbs is 26 years old, continuing on in the article. Unlike George Gascon's false narrative, he is not a kid, LA Deputy District Attorney John Hatami. So even though he's making a good point, this Deputy District Attorney, bravely speaking out against his boss, even he still doesn't have the courage to call Tubbs by his biological pronouns, which is he. So people in power, they're never going to do it because they don't want to lose that power. They may speak out. It's crazy that you have more courage to speak out against your district attorney boss than to call a criminal he instead of she. There was evidence presented at the juvenile proceedings which showed that Tubbs sexually assaulted 2 young girls in different incidents in the past. The child victims will suffer lifelong trauma. Tubbs also has prior violent convictions and conduct as an adult. So he's already been tried for as an adult before. Like, I don't get it, Marcus. What is it? What is it?
I don't get it either, because in some states you can be prosecuted as an adult at the age of 16. But didn't you say 2 weeks away from 18, right?
Yeah, 2 weeks away from being 18 when I'm actually about to talk about what happened in that incident. It's actually next on my notes, and it is horrifying.
But to be 2 weeks away from 18, and by the time the trial starts and everything, even if it was a fast-paced arrest and trial and all that stuff, he still would have been an adult by the time the trial started. And I know technically he wasn't an adult when the crime was committed, but on this case is 8 years old. He's had multiple offenses and been tried as an adult already. I don't see why the prosecutors wouldn't go for an adult.
People have been tried as an adult for less.
And I don't know why they wouldn't push for it. Considering that he has a pass for felonies already. Mm-hmm. So I don't know why they wouldn't push for it as is. It's a horrible crime.
It's awful.
Not only is sexual assault bad enough, but on a kid is even worse.
Just wait. Just wait. See how bad it is. You ready for this?
No.
No, me neither. I was not either when I read it. Prosecutors say Tubbs walked into the bathroom of a Denny's in 2014 and grabbed the 10-year-old girl by the throat, locked her in a stall, and put her hands down the girl's pants. A 10-year-old. Tubbs stopped when another person walked into the restrooms. Thank goodness. Thank the Lord that happened, because who knows what he would have done. You know, the website I'm pulling from, Not the Bee, which is the Babylon Bee's actual news website, has some of their own commentary on this story. And so far I've tried to stay away from it, just because I don't really want to, you know, put insights out there that have already been put out. But this is what they say in this instance. They said, you think this would lead to some massive consequences for this heinous man. In the past, a long drop off a short rope was how rapists met justice. And you know what? I think that's letting him off too easy. Maybe Jim Pop let out he's a child molester. Maybe put him in a cell with the biggest, meanest man in the prison. Someone they know who has a daughter back home that he loves. And let slip what he did. I mean, Jared Fogle knows how bad this can be. What do you think? Am I being too harsh on that, Marcus? Or do you think I'm spot on?
No, I think when it comes to the prison systems, I know family who's worked in them, and they always say that child predators are always the most disliked people in prison. They're the ones that get assaulted in prison, sexually, physically, mentally. They're the ones that just get absolutely destroyed by everybody, and they look at them as even people they look at them worse than people that are serial killers. They don't. It's just they look at them as the bottom of the pole, the lowest of the low, and that's in prison with people that have done horrible things.
Horrible things.
So even if people like that think that, then why in the world are you letting this maniac go exactly where he wants to go with what he? Why would you let him have his way with more?
Exactly.
With more kids?
His target of choice. They are literally locking them up in there.
With helpless girls.
16, 17, 15, 14-year-olds. Because Tubbs this is why it's happening, because Tubbs began identifying as female after he was taken into custody and Gascon refused to try him as an adult. Tubbs was sentenced to 2 years in a juvenile facility. 2 years for taking a 10-year-old to the bathroom, or going into the bathroom where a 10-year-old is at, grabbing her by the throat, locking her in a stall, and shoving his hands down her pants. 2 years in a juvenile facility. In LA County, juvies facilities can be house both females and males, but in separate areas. Tubbs, of course, will be housed with females. So we talk a lot about evil on the show. We are outraged by it, and in some cases, we hope that the stories we bring to you inspire you to go out and call out evil in this world, and we try to give practical ways to fight it sometimes. Calling for parents to be a bigger part of their child's school and holding schools and school boards accountable are two ways that we advocate fighting some evil in this world that we've seen. Another way is to elect politicians and DAs that don't let this happen, because nobody seems to care about these teenage girls that will have to be interred with a 26-year-old man. So LA District Attorney George Gascon, who is now facing a second recall effort for being so horrible at upholding justice, reportedly told the media that he was concerned Tubbs could be victimized in an adult facility as a trans woman. We could only hope. Am I right? We can only hope.
Tell me how you're more concerned for this transgender, poor transgender, woman, that you're more willing to put multiple girls in harm's way rather than have a
26-year-old rapist.
Are you seriously wanting to put these girls above this one dude who is honestly probably not even doesn't even believe he's a he's a girl, but is just doing it because he knows he can be put in with females and girls
to get out of to get out of even more trouble. Well, think about this too. This was a thought I had while writing this. One girl is probably going to have to share a cell with him. But no, the cause is more important. Not victimizing a 26-year-old male rapist who is more... Not victimizing a 26-year-old male rapist is more important than that girl that has to share a cell with him every night. I don't know how she's going to sleep. Because, of course, she's going to know what he did. So every night as she lays there trying to go to sleep, she's going to know that she's in a cell with a 26-year-old man who is in prison for shoving his hands down a 10-year-old's throat, pants. The left hates women and children. Their entire shtick seems to be hurt them with every single policy they can come up with. This is a lack of justice. This is evil in power, and it's going to be a fight to wrest that power away from him. Marcus, any last words?
Yeah, I think that it's sick to not only try him as a female, put him in a female prison, but I think it's wrong that they put him in a juvie prison as well. So I think it's wrong on so many different levels. I think he deserves to be beat, tortured. I believe he deserves to have the exact thing he did to that girl be done to him unwillingly. I think he deserves to have what he's and he got caught with that 10-year-old that will never be the same again. And imagine if there's more girls who he didn't get caught with.
Well, there was at least two other times, plus other violent convictions as an adult.
Well, and that's just what he's been caught for. I mean, you know good and well, criminals never done just the things he's caught for.
It's scary.
There's no telling how many lives he's ruined, and now you're going to put him in a position where he can ruin even more lives in prison. I hope they put him in there with this 16 or 17-year-old girl that is so big, you got to look up and go, oh, dang. So I hope that he gets put in with somebody that just smacks him around and puts him in his place.
Yeah. Or after he gets out, maybe they'll find another crime that he did that he'll go to, an actual prison that he needs to be in. And again, big, burly dude just beats him to a pulp every night.
The problem with that is even if he goes to a regular prison, what makes you think they're going to send him to a male prison? I mean, at this point,
you're right. I didn't even think of that.
They send him to just a female prison.
It's sick. I just put it in the live chat, but this story makes me so sick. Both of these stories has made me sick.
If I ever get caught for doing something wrong that I don't foresee myself doing, but if I ever get framed, I'm coming out as a transgender woman so I can go to a female prison.
Yeah, there you go. Let's hope you never get framed for anything. I don't think you could pass as a very, very pretty female.
It's not about what I look like, it's about what I feel like.
It's what you feel like, because feelings trump everything.
Exactly.
All right. That's enough bad news for one night. What do you think? You think we should move on to some good news?
Yeah, I like good news.
All right. Well, when I say Canada, you probably think I'm going to say more bad news, but I'm not. So if you haven't been paying attention to what's been happening in Canada, except for, what you've heard here, you would think Canada only has the craziest of crazies there. Again, they banned, in effect, the two biggest religions in the world. But there are some bright spots in Canada. So if you haven't heard, there is a giant freedom convoy that has made its way to Ottawa to protest the vaccine mandates that Canada has been established. And giant doesn't do it justice. Massive, colossal, enormous. Again, it's you'll see for yourself. Bye for now, Marcus. We're going to bring your video back on in just a second. But still be able to hear you. Just watch this. Just watch this. massive swarm of people everywhere. And this is not the only video. Look at this. Even more. Also, I really hope I don't, get copyright strike for playing some Twisted Sister, even though it came embedded in the video. Look at all these people. I mean, that's just amazing. And plus the drone footage is just spectacular. I love it. All right, Marcus, you are back.
I gotta say, I got drone footage today. That was pretty cool.
Oh yeah, I saw that. The one moving. People don't realize how hard it is to pilot a drone like that. So 100% yes, fight for your freedom. I mean, you're not gonna. No one's gonna fight for it too. They do have to fight because Canada is going downhill very, very fast. But this is a good sign that there are Canadians of every color and stripes banding together to end big government lockdowns and mandates. And some of Canada's leaders fear this, so I can't publicly denounce America's executive leadership since I'm in the Guard. Marcus, you could, but we're actually going to make fun of Canada's executive leadership. As in, the fact that Justin Trudeau is hiding from these guys and that he's a gutless, spineless coward. Hiding from the people and calling them disgusting and vile from behind closed doors. And yes, he supposedly tested positive for COVID and is asymptomatic, but it happened the day before the truckers got there. So I'm not buying it. I actually have more footage of what's going on. So it's awesome. I love this. Here's a little bit more just because it's awesome. Nope. There we go. So, who says fighting for your freedom can't be fun? But in amazing fashion, and in very Canadian fashion, these guys are so nice that you literally see them going around picking up trash off the sidewalk. So, you're doing a great job! Very Canadian right here. But, I mean, it's great to see such a large group of people fighting for freedom, because you don't see that and you hear about some stuff, but you don't see it and hear about as much in this hemisphere for conservative type movements. Isn't that right, Marcus?
I'm really glad to see these people stand up and fight for what they believe. I'm not against the vaccine or people getting the vaccine, but I'm all for freedom and let people choose, because if they take away one freedom, then they take away another, and so I'm glad to see that people are standing up, even if it's not in America. It really brings my heart joy to look at these people do this.
And there's quite a lot of joy for them fighting. It's not like the big riots that are happening or that have happened in America recently, where people are going in, breaking in, and stealing stuff while they're rioting. There's a lot more joy to this, it seems, because they're not burning stuff down. They're actually fighting to make their country better, not to tear stuff down. And they're picking up their trash too while they're at it. But go ahead.
Well, when you're fighting for something that's meaningful and something that you truly believe in, there's a huge difference between standing for something that you believe in and just rioting because somebody else says, or because somebody may have died unjustly, or because something may be racist, or yada yada yada. So they're actually doing something that's meaningful to them and to everybody that's there, that's meaningful to them. Whereas the riots here, they're not necessarily meaningful to anybody. They don't care. They don't care about who the riots are supposed to to be for. They're just doing it because everybody else is doing it to fit in.
Yeah.
So there's a difference between the riots and riots here and the stand and the people standing up against the government up there, because there's two different purposes to them.
There are. You have hit the nail on the head. Real quickly before I play this last video and we can hear it from a Canadian's own words, I love this little in-chat blurb that came up from Miss Laura Fletcher. I don't know who that is. Said, dang, did his vaccine not work? And I love that because he's, triple vaxxed. And some people, I don't know what YouTube's policy on this right now, some people say that maybe the vaccines aren't as efficient as they claim to be, that it doesn't actually stop Omicron. I'm pretty sure that's been put out by like New York Times now. It probably is okay to just say it outright, but I don't want to get canceled for something stupid. I want to be canceled for, them come after me for trying to say something that's right and true in a way that, just saying vaccines don't, the COVID vaccines don't work do. That probably didn't come out right. However, I do want to have this last video to play. And it's in a Canadian's own words. This is awesome.
Why did you feel it was important to come to the event?
Because I want to fight for the freedoms of Canada and my grandchildren and my kids.
All right, and how long do you plan on staying?
I plan on staying till it's over. Until Justin resigns, all mandates are lifted.
I like this
and
guy.
what would you say to Trudeau if he was here right now?
I would ask him if he's going to listen to the people and let the people have a choice. Because we don't have a choice in his legislation.
Awesome. Anything else that you want to add?
Freedom!
Man, if they ever remake Braveheart, I'd vote for this guy to play Mel Gibson's part. Freedom! Marcus, you probably couldn't hear any of that, could you?
No, of course not.
Dang, that
couldn't hear a bit
sucks.
of it.
But yeah, so this is what happens when people on the right side of history speak up. I really hope that they make some lasting changes in Canada for the Canadians up there, and maybe show us what can happen when the right people speak up. So, you have any last words on this, Marcus?
I didn't really see the video, so I don't have a lot I can say. But I'm proud of people for standing up for something they believe in.
For being on the right side of history. Exactly.
The only thing is that you got to be careful with the way you say it, because you don't want to say it and people be like, well, why don't you like it when the LGBT stands up for themselves? So you got to be careful with what you support and standing up.
Well, I do not have a problem with them protesting anything, because their right to protest protects my right to protest. That being said, I can't really agree with what they're saying, and that's why we have to win. There's no other case to that. It's like they have the right to protest in the streets as well. It's just when it comes down to it, we have to win, and that involves a lot more of us speaking out. So, all right, we've had bad news. We've had good news. Now it's time for the cringe. So, Marcus, I would advise muting yourself and watching this video when it pops up on the live stream, and just watching this, because it's nuts. So, let's watch this TikTok video together and cringe at all of the cringiness.
Ready? Roll call. My name's Nicole, and I'm not for kids, and I help parents not with their lids.
The dude's so much like, it's an inherently female thing. This whole thing's inherently, feminine, and the fact that he's doing this is just so cringy. It's the gayest thing I've ever seen.
People just don't believe us anymore.
I know, Nicole. You know what? These people would rather just listen to some random person or somebody on social media. I bet they couldn't.
Real quickly, aren't these people random people on social media? Because, anyone can put an MD by their name. You see at the bottom right, it says MD Nicole Baldwin. I don't really know how famous she is, But I mean, at least to me, she's just a random person on social media. So by your own logic, why should I listen to you? Yeah. Anyways, continuing.
I couldn't even pass Mr. Jenkins' 9th grade science class.
I could 100% pass Mr. Jenkins' 9th grade science test. So could Marcus,
What are we gonna
easily.
do?
I don't know, maybe. Wait, what if we created the perfect cheer?
Yes, because you're going to convince the people
Vaccinate.
who have not already gotten vaccinated by this cheer.
Who's that girl talking about vaccines?
Also, dude is winded after like saying a few words and moving his arms in a simple manner. Maybe worry about your own health and fitness first, dude, before you try and tell other people.
COVID, you can take a knee.
It's so cringy. Thank you, it's over.
Ready.
Oh my goodness. Marcus, just give me a thumbs up when you've seen the video, because it's so cringy. It's so bad. It's just... I don't even really have something...
Thankfully, I didn't hear it.
But did...
But I did see those cringy dance moves.
Yes.
Those were horrible.
We need to vaccinate! Oh my god, it's so bad. Oh, but I had to see it today.
I guess that's a freedom of speech, you know.
It is.
You want to dance to
It
a
is.
song.
I'm proud to be
You
American,
have to
even
be
if
mad.
Americanism leads to stuff like this. It's still the right way to go. That being said, just wow, dude. Like, this is how bad the left wants us to vaccinate. They will.
I'd rather.
You know, if this is a parody of the left, then it is a dadgum good one. And it is funny.
I'd rather see that on TikTok and on Facebook than I would not be able to talk about what I want to talk about.
Anthony Fauci.
So, I'd rather deal with those cringy TikTok videos and people, you know, singing about vaccines, talking about how you need to get the vaccines, and listen to, you know, all this about how it's better for you, yada, 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 than I would, you know, be forced to do everything. So, at least for now, we have our freedoms. That's one good thing we take from it. But that's just cringy.
Yes, it is. It's so cringy. So to wrap up, thank y'all all for coming to support us. The live chat was a lot of fun. I enjoyed answering those questions. The one in Ukraine, good one. It was fun. I enjoy doing this for y'all every week. I think Marcus does too, and I'm so glad that he's here. Has been kind of my wingman doing this in a lot of ways. You have anything lastly to say before we leave?
I do enjoy doing this. You know, sometimes I'm tired, and I sometimes don't necessarily always, you know, feel like getting on. But at the same time, I think, you know, I do this, I can get a laugh, I can cringe, I can cry a little bit. Better yet, I'm supporting my best friend. So, you know, it's a blast being on here. It's a blast supporting Gray. And you know, I love doing it. I love, you know, I may not always seem smart when I answer stuff, but at least I'm giving you my honest opinion.
Hey, you are better than these people.
I'm better than some liberals. They may not think so, but
they're wrong.
You know.
They can't be right. So finishing up over here, right there, all of my social media, I try to stay active on it as much as I can, since I don't do this full time. So happy to do it for you. Go out, fight for something, stand for something, and remember, make sure you do something that'll get you canceled by a leftist. Because if you do that, you're probably doing something right. See you guys next week.